Back to the next video. In today's video I will show you how to display the EU consent screen for European countries before displaying ads from Google Admob in React Native's new architecture without using any third-party library. So yeah, let's get started. So first of all I will show you guys the output. So here as you can see I have two buttons. So one is show ad and second is show consent form. So sorry, I will just delete this app for now because this contains some like the output won't be proper. Just delete it for now. Okay, and I will restart the app. Like I will reinstall the app. So as soon as the app loads, you would be able to see the consent form. So this is the consent form and it is only displayed for European countries, but I don't live in Europe, I live in Asia, so it is possible to show this form even though you live outside European countries. I will show you what changes you need to make, and this is only developer changes, like only for debugging changes or testing changes. For while deploying it to prod, you need to remove those changes. I will show you it and show those changes in a bit. But here once the form is displayed, what I will do is that I will click on consent button over here. That means the user has given his permission to display ad. Now here you can see the ad has been loaded. I'm just printing it to the console, but you can do a better way, like create a variable or something. And now if I click on show ad button, I'm displaying the interstitial ad, but this can be any ad like a banner ad or a native ad. Now what I'll do is I will again uninstall the application and I will click on do not don't provide the consent on the first go. Okay, so I'll just rerun the application, and here you should be able to see the consent form again. Now I will click on do not consent. Now suppose you have a feature in your app, like you want the user to support the developer so that the ads can be displayed. So what you can do is you can have one so I have created another button for this, but it can be anywhere in your app, like mostly it is in the settings screen. So once the user click on this show consent form, I am displaying this again, and once the user click on consent, then here you can see, you should be able to see, okay, the ad has been loaded. And now if I click on show ad again, here you can see the ad was displayed properly. So this is what it is. Next I will show you how to get the production ad units for Admob. Now while testing it, you should be using test ad units. This is only while you deploy it to production. So go to apps, create ad app, and here you can just click on iOS. I have not deployed it to Play App Store yet. Click on new. I will give some name, click add app. Okay, I'll click on done. Then here you can click on add unit. I will select interstitial, but if you're displaying any other ad, select that one. I will just write enter, create ad unit, and here you can see these are the production ad units. I'll click on done for now. If you want to link your app once you have deployed it to Play Store, you can go to app settings, and here you can click on the add button and add your URL for the app. Next what you'll have to do is, so I have written all the steps for creating the privacy policy. So click on add privacy policy. So firstly what you will have to do is you will have to add some privacy policy to your app as well. So maybe some web view or just inside your settings page you can add some privacy policy. So that is very important. So I won't do that in this video, like because that is a simple basic thing which you can do it on your own. Then you will have to click on privacy and messaging. Okay, then click create for European regulation. So I'll just click on create. Then we'll click create. Then we'll have to click on get started. So here you as you can see they have mentioned that add a privacy policy to your app, so you can add that. Here I will just click on get started, then click create a European regulation message. So I'll just click on this. And here if you want, so here you can see this is the setup for it. If you want, you can change it, like the styling you can change it however you want to, the targeting you can change it however you want to, but yeah, I'll keep everything as default. But the important thing is you will have to select your app over here. So that's why I have created my app at the very first time, and I'll select my app. Also here you will have to add some URL, so make sure you add some URL as well. So for now I will just add https:// make sure you add a proper URL, maybe your website URL or your business URL, something like that. Okay, not Google, maybe codingwithnobody.com. Nobody.com. Okay, I'll click on save. I'll also make sure I will click this add unit deployment as well. Do I have to add privacy policy? Okay, add privacy policy in the do not consent, select on. Okay, I'll click on the I'll just make sure. I think the add unit deployment may be for production purposes, but yeah, for now I'll just keep it as off. I'll click on confirm, then select your app, add privacy policy and do not consent, select on. Okay, so here you will have to select on, then you will have to click publish. So just click publish, I'll click OK. And also one thing to note is that once you, now I will show you later on in the output that how the consent form looks like, but once the user accept a consent, it only lasts for 1 year. That is the important part. So yeah, let's now move on to the demo part. Already done the video for Android. This video is only for iOS. If you're curious for Android, you can watch my previous video, but yeah, let's get started for iOS. So as usual, like this is the same setup for Android, just I have added few more files. So I have created this folder called RTR my interstitial. If you are curious, you can watch you can refer to this turbo native module documentation as well, because I will be copying a lot of code from this documentation itself. So here I have created this package.json file. Again, I have copy pasted it from the docs. Only this name has been changed, this has been changed, this has been changed, and this has been changed. Next I have created a podspec file. Again, I have copy pasted it from the docs. Only this name has been changed. Next we have created a JS folder. Inside that I have created a TypeScript file, two methods, one for showing the ad, one for showing the consent form, and this name has been changed. Everything else is copied from docs. You can ignore the Android folder because we are doing this for iOS. Next, what you will have to do is you will have to open the iOS folder, go to pod file, and here you will have to add these two pods, one for mobile apps SDK and for other for the displaying the consent form, which is the user messaging platform. Later on I will also show you the documentation where you can find all these things. Next, what you will have to do is you will have to open your terminal, go to the root of your React Native project, and then run this command. Once you run this command, you will have to do cd ... It will move you outside your React Native project. Then you will have to run this command. But while running this command, make sure you replace rnapp with your project name. My project name is rnapp, so replace it over here, as well as over here. Once you do that, you will have to cd to your main iOS folder and then run this command. So it will do code generation for our folder as well as do pod install. Next, what you will have to do is open the iOS folder inside Xcode. Over here, first I have created this event emitter file, which will help us to send data from native side to React Native side. And if you see inside app.tsx how I am using it, so first I have imported our library, then this is so you can ignore this is for Android. So this is for iOS. We are using this native event emitter as well as native modules from this React Native package, and then we are listening for whether the ad has been loaded or not. So I am sending a string, like it's very difficult to send boolean in Objective C++, like I couldn't figure it out, that's why I'm sending a string. And if it is yes, then I'm setting this variable of set is ad loaded to true, because the ad loading takes some time, you can't immediately show your ad. And this ad loading will be true only when the user has given consent and again this is only for European countries. And if you see inside my button on press, and the first buttons on press, I am showing the consent form, calling the show consent form method, and on the second buttons on press I am calling the show interstitial method, but only if the boolean value is true. And here inside this text I am just showing this boolean value just for reference purpose. Okay, in case the user has accepted the form and the ad has been loaded properly. Next, as usual, go create this event emitter file. So this is the header file and this is the Objective-C file. Again, I have just copy pasted this from Stack Overflow, so even I am not good at it. Next, I have copied this header file. I have copied this from the documentation itself. I will show you it in a bit, but all we are doing is that we are creating a variable for our this class consent manager, and two more variables, one for requesting the ad and one for privacy option is required or not. Like this privacy option is required, again it is for EU countries, so this button which we are showing, you can hide it depending on what this variable is. Now you can send this variable value back to a native side as well. I'm not sending it, but I'll show you how to send this value. Just like we are sending this value of whether the ad is loaded or not, you can send this privacy option as well similarly to the native side. And here we have defined two methods, one for gathering the consent and one for checking the privacy option if form is required or not. Next, we have to create another Objective-C file, and again I have copy pasted this from the docs. So here we are creating an instance of Google Consent Manager, and this is for requesting the ad, this is for checking whether the privacy option is required or not, and this is for gathering consent from presentation view controller. So here you can see that now this is like a debug thing, like this should be used only for testing purposes. While deploying it to production, you should comment this code out. So here, given that I don't stay in Europe, I stay in Asia, so but I want to test it, so I can forcefully make the consent manager say like show the form thinking that I stay in Europe. So for that, this is used as a testing thing, but do comment this out in production. And here we are just displaying the consent form. Again, I have just copy pasted this from the docs. I will show you the docs as well in a bit. And this is for presenting the privacy option. Now we have to create a header file again with the same name of our folder name which we have created. And again, most of the things I have copied from docs, so from the Turbo Native module docs as well as from the Google Docs Admob docs. So here you can see we are importing Admob as well as our event emitter, and this I have copied from Turbo module docs, only this file name has been changed, and this has been copied from Turbo module docs. So this extra thing has been imported from Google Admob, and here we are creating our interstitial ad, but instead of the interstitial you can use banner ad as well if you're interested. And we are just closing this. Next, we need to create an Objective-C file, but make sure you change the extension to .mm, which is an Objective-C++ file. Okay, and here you can see that again I have copy pasted most of the code from the docs. The only thing which I have changed is I have changed the Objective-C code to Objective-C++. So here you can see we are importing the header file. Again, this has been copied from Turbo Native module doc, only file name has been changed. Similarly, this as well, only this names has been changed. And here we are initializing our Google ad consent manager and displaying it to the user, and side by side we are also loading our Google Mobile's ad SDK. And here you can see this is how we load the Google Mobile Ads SDK, and this is a test ID. Make sure you use your own production ID while deploying it to App Store. And once the ad has properly loaded, you can see we are sending this data back to the React Native side. So similarly for privacy option, so here you can see if the privacy option is enabled, you can send this call back to React Native side as well in a similar way, so that you don't need to show this show consent form button. And here I have just overridden all this method which we had imported from this class. And here for displaying the consent form, again we have to make use of the main thread, and this is the code for displaying the consent form. And if it is accepted, we are loading our interstitial ad again. And inside show interstitial ad, you can see that we are this is how we display the ad. Next, also inside your info.plist, make sure you add this application identifier. Again, this is a test ID. Make sure you replace it with your own production ID. And in SK add network items, I have just added one item over here. I don't think we need to add anything inside app delegate. Yeah, we don't need to add because we are using the consent manager, so we will only load the mobile ads SDK once the consent has been uh, accepted by the user. Okay, now so yeah, that's it. Now you can use it, like I have shown you how to use it as well. Now I will just show you the documentation as well. So here you can see we had added this pod, as well as if you are interested in Swift package manager, you can use something like this. This dash objc is already present for React Native, but do verify it once more. Like you will have to select your target, go to build settings, search for other linker flags, and here you can see dash objc is already present, so we don't need to add it. Next we have also added this identifier, so I have only added this one, but if you want you can add all these ones as well inside your info.plist. Okay, and next we don't need to add this inside app delegate because we need the consent, right? That's why we are postponing that. Next so I have used this implement interstitial ad. So I have just copy pasted most of the code from over here. So here you can see it is in Objective-C, so we had to convert it to Objective-C++. So same thing over here, we have also implemented this and overridden this, all these methods. And now for the consent manager, you will have to go to the user messaging platform, go to get started, and here you can see that I have added this pod as well to our file. And now what I did was I completely ignored all this stuff, so it's better you directly go to this Objective-C repo, and from that itself I just copy pasted these two files, and also how to use these files also have copy pasted it, but only the change which I made was converting the Objective-C code to Objective-C++. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.